Hello everyone and welcome to this week's installment of our Bengal interview series. Today we sit down with Jackie Dufresne, 2019 graduate with a dual major in computer information systems and applied mathematics. She was a midfielder for us and now she's sitting down to talk about her year at Buffalo State. Hello Jackie and welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, so I mentioned that you have a really challenging set of dual majors. That's computer information systems and also applied mathematics. Can you talk about first, just like for people that might not know what those are?
Sure. So the first major, computer information systems, it's not quite computer science. It doesn't have the mathematics that you would take as a computer science major. It is less theoretical and it's trying to train you more towards going directly into the field when you graduate. You're going to learn how to program, you're going to learn about databases, things like that. And then the applied mathematics major has some pure mathematics in it, so you're going to learn like calculus 1, 2, and 3. And then there's also, I took statistics. That was my applied mathematics track, and that was to learn skills that I could go out and get a job as like a quantitative analyst and use those statistical skills. Okay. So that was like the applied part of applied mathematics.
Okay.
Yeah.
So can you like talk about some careers?
I guess I'll use company in Buffalo that hires a lot of them, M&T Bank.
Okay.
So it's kind of a mix of statistics, finance, things like that, and you run statistical models, and that's broadly what it is. You could be a statistician, you could be a data analyst, so you could be looking at trends in the data. Maybe, for example, I interned at Delaware North, look at all the food they sold at a Buffalo Bills game, break it down, what beer did we sell the most of, and use statistics and things like that.
Oh, it can maybe predict how much you'd have to buy next time,
right?
Stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because that's like a little ambiguous, like saying computer information systems and then also applied mathematics. It's like, it just sounds hard.
Yes.
It just sounds really challenging.
Yes.
It's hard to like conceptualize what you might enter, the professional field doing. How would you apply that to the jobs that you're looking at now?
The thing about computer information systems that is good is it's really broad. So, like I said, you could manage a database that has a bunch of customer information, credit card information in it. Right. Make sure you're protecting it, managing it. I took a web development class, so learning how to create a website, things like that.
Okay, so that like being broad like that, you can apply it to a bunch of stuff.
Right.
For you specifically, what are you trying to do by taking those two majors? Like, what is your career goal for that? Mathematics
is really important to understand computers, because computers run on math.
Right,
so those two things complement each other great. Like a self-driving car, that's all running on math. That's linear algebra and all that stuff.
It's so hard to conceptualize. Like,
yeah.
I don't totally understand how computers run on binary code. Like, that is so abstract. Or is it? But I'm like, how does ones and zeros equal anything? Like, I don't understand.
I can tell you. Okay, I've got a piece of paper I can show you. I can show you later if you want.
Perfect.
So now I'm in grad school for computer science and engineering, and I want to go into cybersecurity. So that's my end goal. So while I didn't take any cybersecurity classes at the undergrad level, all the classes I took prepared me for grad school, and now I have a really good foundation.
Was your education as an undergraduate at Buffalo State comprehensive, moving toward attaining that goal?
I think the two majors at Buff State were a great foundation for my master's program. I went right in, ready to go, learn new skills. Even though I didn't take any cybersecurity classes in particular in undergrad, I am doing great with them because I had the math foundation, the programming foundation, all the concepts down from Buff State.
So did you find that those professors prepared you adequately? Like, were they really one-on-one? It's probably one of those things that requires a lot of hands-on teaching.
So class sizes were small. I think at the biggest they were 30 people. So, and even that was on the bigger side. So I would say your average program, like you're learning a programming language, it's hard, maybe 15 people are in the room, so everyone's asking questions. There's tutors, past students that have taken the class. Right. I went to office hours. I would email my teachers and they'd answer really fast, and and be like, oh, I see a little error here, like reach out. They wouldn't give me the answer, but they'd be like, check that out again, and kind of give a hint. So, and that's a benefit of Upstate is you aren't just a number, your teachers know your name, and that's really important when you have a hard major.
So our student to teacher ratio is actually 15 to 1. which speaks to what you're saying. Like the professors are constantly engaged in what the students are doing. So particularly with a major, and so is it common to dual major in those two things?
I would say no. I don't know anyone that did.
That makes sense.
I think a lot of times what people do is they'll take a harder major like engineering or something and then add business maybe.
Okay.
So I don't know if people usually dual majors 2 STEM degrees, but I wanted to do it because I wanted to play 4 years of lacrosse, and I came in with high school credits, and I'm like, you know what, while I'm here, I'd rather not graduate early. I'd rather just get 2 majors.
Right.
It made me super marketable. I got job offers. I got to different grad schools. So that was good.
And then when you finish grad school, you'll be prepared to enter the career you're looking
exactly.
for. Yeah, that's good. I mean, that takes a lot of dedication, the dual major. So just anyone interested in dual majoring coming into Buffalo State, we'll always say this, your academics is a #1 priority. So even if you have 2 challenging majors like that, we are willing to work with you and figure out how to manage that schedule so you're being successful in the classroom. Now, that takes a lot of a type A personality, someone who's going to manage and balance, which you did really well when you were here. So how did you feel about like balancing the demands of lacrosse and 2 majors? And I know also you worked the whole way through.
So it was hard, obviously.
It was hard, I'm sure.
I would always make a schedule the night before, and it was like, okay, 6 to 8 I'm at practice, 8 to 9 I'm at lift, 9 to 11 I'm doing this homework, 11 to 1 I'm doing this. It was like, I literally made it out hourly. It's like, okay, now I gotta go work 6 to 10 p.m., whatever. And it was hard, but it's doable. And I think lacrosse almost gave me structure. You know, it wasn't like I opened my planner and the whole day was blank. It was like, okay, I have lacrosse from 2 to 4 or whatever. So do this before practice, do this homework after practice. It actually almost adds more structure to your life. And even though, it is a commitment, it almost forces you to manage your time. Right. And there are people who don't play a sport, don't work, and still can't manage their time. And I think, you know what I mean? So like lacrosse almost helped.
Like our program, we're always checking in too. Now with Jackie, she was always prepared and on top of stuff, so we didn't have to kind of get on top of her for anything. But most of the students, especially first years, freshmen, anyone below a 3.0 GPA, we are constantly saying, how can we support you? Because you need that support to initially kind of develop your organizational plan. And I think that's the key to success there. Like balancing your time is staying organized, having a planner, touching base and communicating. Like, hey, I have this unexpected classroom meeting. And I'm like, okay, well, you have to go to class, so how late are you going to be to practice? And you can kind of work through that. Obviously we do our best to avoid any conflict at all with practice and classes and things like that.
You have blocks, your mind almost breaks the day into blocks, and that's what you do in the spring because you're so busy, and you got to utilize like being on the bus, type of paper while you're on the bus. You get to the hotel, you and your friends maybe hang out for a couple hours, but then take a couple hours to read a book, 9 p.m. when everyone's just, laying low. You can still have fun, you can still have a social life, you just have to plan.
You did a great job of that. Like our team GPA just keeps climbing, and I think traditionally it has been a little bit higher in the spring because people are just like, here's like you're saying, like they block off their time, they just have to do their work.
Right.
And plus the coaches always have access to you in the spring. So, if I'm talking to the players, freshmen, hey, did you finish that thing? I knew you had the band coming up. Did you guys, did you study for that? I saw you in the library. What were you working on? That way we can kind of always, help support people. It's not as much about like breathing down everybody's neck. It's just, how can we help you? So amidst all of this, you were a mid-year transfer.
Yes.
From a Division II college.
Yes.
So can you talk about your experience moving from Division II lacrosse and academics to Division III?
I had a scholarship at my D2 school, and it was actually cheaper for me to go play at Buffalo State because D2's, there's a lot of private schools, there's some state schools, but I got a scholarship to go there, and it was cheaper to go to Buffalo State and play D3, even though I was getting a scholarship at D2.
Right. And
so I'm not in a ton of debt, which is great.
that is great.
Yeah.
That whole thing with saving money in school is important, and a lot of people, despite getting a scholarship, are still going to end up paying more money than going to a state school like Buffalo State. So
I transferred in January, but everyone was really welcoming, and I think the coaches really helped get integrated fast.
We called her our late Christmas present. Yeah, she was an awesome midfielder.
I came right in, I met everyone. So if you're a transfer looking to come in the middle of the year, it's totally possible. It's not uncommon. As far as going from D2 to D3 goes, In the fall, it's not that big of a difference. And same with the spring. You're still practicing 6 days a week.
Right.
You're still traveling anywhere from like 2 to 7 hours away for your games.
Yeah. So we play top 20 teams. You know, it's a lot of good competition. So you move from D2 to this conference in Division 3, and it's like, okay, good, it's still competitive. Did you feel like the level of competitiveness suited you as well?
Yeah, definitely. You know, and there's D3 teams who can beat D2 teams, and there's D3 teams that can beat D1 teams. So when looking at a school, don't necessarily focus on the division as opposed to the competitiveness and the fact that we're in the SUNYAC. These are teams that are consistently like really, really good competition, and even the teams that aren't ranked are still really good. Well, the competitiveness was the same to me. It was just the difference in playing less fall ball practices, really.
Yeah, which kind of almost gives you the opportunity to work those harder majors. I feel fortunate that we can push that academics first. Like, you have everything that you need to academically enter your workforce, and also how to be a good teammate in your workforce. Because I'm sure that's something that you've noticed, you know, is helpful moving forward, even into grad school.
Yeah, I've had people mention even in interviews, oh, you were an athlete. That's awesome. They instantly know you're disciplined, you know how to work with a team, you're always on time, you always can manage your time, things like that. That always looks great in an interview. Yeah.
So if you had one piece of advice to give any students who are in challenging majors and have a lot to work through balancing their time, what kind of advice would you give them?
Use your resources. Your coaches care about your grades. And I hate to say this, they care about your grades probably more than lacrosse. They want you, I mean, they may not say that, but they want you to be successful in life and get the academic experience. They know after lacrosse is over, the 4 years are over, you need to go out and you need to get a job.
Right.
So if you're stressed, go see them. They can help you in a number of different ways, or even just talking to someone and getting it off your chest. And my other piece of advice, since our season is in the spring and you have the fall to get used to everything, take advantage of getting into the fall, getting in that routine, doing well in the fall when you're not practicing as much, and also use your upperclassmen.
Yeah, that's great advice, whether you're choosing a professor or a class section, or you don't know if they have that book still.
Yes.
Like, that's all stuff that you can use your Instant Lacrosse family for. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Thank you everyone for joining us for our 6th installment of the Bengal interview series. We will be taking a short break next week, but we'll be right back at it the following week.
And then you're standing there and they're like, I need water or something in my hand.
I totally am. That's what I'm thinking. Like, it's got to be, there's something psychologically to it.
I don't know.
Hardest part is me being hello and welcome. I literally have messed it up every single time. Hello and welcome everyone to our 6th installment of the Buffalo. Every time.
You need to put it on the wall.
Oh my god, that's such a good idea. Now that's the next purchase. Untitled Chapter.